What's going on? This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Long time no see. So, I was filming a new video and I was downloading the footage from the camera onto my computer and realized that I had forgotten that I had made a 5 things that I hate about my BMW e60 video and never put it together and posted it. Life got busy. Lots of interesting and exciting things happening in my life, and it didn't cross my mind. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that video now. So the things I hate and love about my e60, so this is the video you're watching, and then I'm going to post the new video in a couple days. So we're going to have a little bit of content for the next couple days. I will preface this with, I do love my e60. I daily drive it. You know, it's a nice, clean, classy car, good for business, good for daily. But it's got its intricacies. It's got its, problems. Every car's got them. The E60's got some pretty unique ones that are quite annoying. I guess some of the E92s would share the same issues, being just the 3 Series version of the same platform. So, anyways, I'll jump into that. It's going to be kind of all over the place because this is old footage from it's got to be a few months old now. And so we're going to drop that, then another video after. So hopefully you enjoy it. This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Enjoy. So first off, we're going to start off with this little system that is in here. This is the CCC drive for the 2006, the CIC drive for the newer models. This controls this. Now, I've had lots of issues with this, being a battery draw on the system because the fan kept running. It crashed completely, so I had no screen here whatsoever. It would kill my car battery and so on. So that's first and foremost. Been repaired, fixed, we're good to go. Second is this. I get this signal on a regular basis. There's a way to turn it off. You turn the steering wheel all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and it turns it off. So what that does is that turns off my all-wheel drive system. It's clearly something wrong with the sensor in the steering wheel. I haven't gotten around to fixing that yet, but that is a massive annoyance. So the iDrive CCC drive system, which is all controlled by this little unit here, that combined with this unit, which controls this, biggest problem I've had so far. Again, no audio, kills the battery, just a nightmare, but you have to have it because this little unit here controls all aspects of the car. So this is how you control like your settings, your temperature, a lot of your temperature controls, your major temperature controls. So it's not very user-friendly in that. Ultimately, I think the biggest concern with all E60s and a lot of BMWs in particular is the electrical systems. They have lots of little bugs and issues with them, as do other manufacturers, but in particular my experience with these, and it's chasing these constant bugs. There'll be a battery draw somewhere, so it's unplugging a piece that goes into your battery. It could be a draw on a light, a part of your trunk is open, anything. It's just these crazy little nitpicky things that you'll chase forever to try to figure out. So that's another major annoyance, and that's probably the most costly aspect. So electrical, again, was what caused my CCC drive to drop. And then on the other side of the vehicle, I've had to replace motor mounts on this vehicle with 150,000 kilometers on it. So I replaced it with less. The motor mounts had completely snapped off. They have a hydraulic fluid in them, so they're very specific, but that's in Canada, that's about $1,000 repair. 150,000 K on an N52 and the motor mount snapped. Crazy. And I don't, like, this is an all-wheel drive. This car's not a performance car. I don't race it around. I just drive it around normally. And so that's another major problem I had. I've had some problems with other parts failing. Again, I don't know if this is it doesn't feel like it's a BMW thing, but I've had a lot of issues with this car in particular. And I've owned E60 or E46s, E36s, and so on. And I've just never been as bad as this vehicle. Maybe that's why they're not overly popular. Maybe that's why the resale is so bad on them. But I shouldn't have to be replacing motor mounts, cooling system parts. I've had to replace the spark plugs and the I don't know why I can't think of it right now. I've had to replace all that stuff. So there's been a lot of maintenance. Now that's general maintenance, I get that, but it just seems that this vehicle's extra finicky with it. So I was getting misfires, so I had to replace the plugs and again, resolved it. But again, you're chasing these constant little nitpicky things. Lastly, and I'll recount them for you, but lastly has been the transmission in this thing. So there's lots of stuff on forums and the internet about problems with these transmissions. And now this transmission's a get drag transmission. It's used in a ton of their vehicles, but for some reason, I don't know if it's coating or something from the factory, this one in particular, you come to a stop and it has a hard downshift, which isn't a big deal. But what it does have in this one in particular, and I've done a lot of things to circumvent it. I've done programming. I have a control module in here for transmission and things like that. And accelerating through the gears when you're heavy acceleration, say getting on the highway, between 4th and 5th, it drops a gear to jump up to get to basically rev into higher RPMs. And it has this really hard shift, like really hard. It feels like the transmission's braking. And it doesn't do it every time, but when it does do it, it'll often throw a transmission fault, which in turn then puts the transmission into like a safety mode, which won't let you go up any higher in gears and won't allow you to accelerate any further. So you're pretty much capped to whatever gear you're in, and then you have that RPM range. So it's just like you need to get off the highway if that's what you're doing. There's been some attempts at fixing this, but nobody can figure it out in my car. So the last thing that we're going to do, I guess, is replace the solenoids, and hopefully that fixes it. Currently, if you use it in sport mode, so we have drive and then you have sport mode as well, allows it to rev higher in the RPMs. It does not do it in sport mode, which is crazy. So there's really no logic behind it. I've taken it to private places. I've taken it to BMW. They've been scanned. It's showing some faults, but there's no fault when it gets cleared. And then I can't get it to do it again for them. And it's been a nightmare, honestly. So yes, the car wasn't overly expensive to purchase with low kilometer. I got it with 120,000 kilometers on it. So for the Americans, it's about 70-ish, 72,000 miles, so pretty low, and I've had to do a lot of work on it. With that said, highly recommend doing the transmission filter. It says it's lifetime transmission fluid. It is not, so I've done all that. So all said and done, I've put probably just in service into this car, between the transmission stuff, the iDrive, the motor mounts, probably $6,000 into it just in service. Not to mention all the modifications I do on top of it, but like it's a $7,000 car. So that's kind of crazy to think that much had to go into it in such low kilometer. Yeah, again, now sitting at 157, but that's 37,000 K I put on it, and it's been a lot of stuff that's had to go into it. So I'll go back outside the car and then we'll jump into what I actually do enjoy about the car, because it's not fair to just throw it under the bus. It has been a good vehicle with the exception of some repairs that needed to be done. So let's move on. So one of the things I do love about the car is going to be hit and miss depending on who you are, but I do love the body styling of it. So a lot of people have referred to this as the ugly duckling of the 5 Series. I beg to differ. I think the headlights are cool. I think once you actually get a proper stance on it, that it does bring the car really nice, stylish lines to it. And I like the taillights. I really like everything about it. This car in particular is kind of unique. That the colorway it is called Olivin. It's not a very common colorway, so that's also a nice little feature. Like I said, I do love the way it looks once you've got, you know, it lowered a bit, some proper wheels. This is an absolute winter mode, so we're rocking some 18s here. But I do think they style out really well. Another pro that I think about it is that it's an inexpensive car. Where can you get an $80,000 car for $7,000 with 120,000 kilometers on it? Like, that's pretty uncommon. Now, between 5 Series and 7 Series, resale value on them's terrible. So as long as you're willing to put a little bit of money into them, you can have an amazing car. So that's a definite bonus for me too. I do like the size of it. I like the comfort of it. The motor in it is a very reliable motor, being again the N52, and it's a comfortable ride. This one's nice because it is all-wheel drive when it's working, and which just allows me to have that comfort in the winter, because this is my winter daily, you know, drive to work car, stuff like that. And then I've got my summer fun car. So yeah, I really love that aspect of it. Great sound system in them, and yeah, just nice all-around car. A little bit of luxury for not a whole lot, and I think they style up really well. So to bring it back, the top 5 things I dislike about this car: a little bit unreliable, electrical's a nightmare, the iDrive system to control the car is ridiculous, and then just the constant upkeep of it. You know, it's a BMW that if you do need to take it to the dealership, it's going to be pricey. So those are a few of the things that I dislike about it, but let's not forget there are plenty of things to love about it. It's a great looking car. You know, I'm not going to sit here and hate. It's also not something I have any plans to get rid of, because now that I've dumped this money into it, it's kind of a keeper. So anyways, I just wanted to put something out there, keep it short and sweet, but thank you everybody to watching. Merry Christmas. It's Boxing Day here, and winter is upon us. It's time to go hit the slopes. So I hope everybody has a great day. This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Take care. Just hop back in the car as I get back in. I remember there's another thing I hate. The back seats don't go down. What vehicle in North America, or Europe for that matter, doesn't have rear folding seats? You know, what's crazy too is I think it's a BMW thing, because my E46 and my E36 don't either. Brutal. So as an avid snowboarder, I don't even have the ski pass through. That's just folds down as an armrest. But you couldn't fit a board through it anyway. So I have to put my boards in the back seat if I'm going to take this car. Luckily we have another car and different options, but brutal. Non-folding rear seats, never again. I think the next, if I were to get another one of these, I'd just have to do the wagon, because I do love wagons, but man, is that annoying. And these terrible cup holders. Like these get broken off all the time because people try to get in and out and bash their legs off it, but just horrible design. So if you're sitting here, this is the seat all the way back, you're ramming your legs into it. Terrible design. But I guess they're afterthoughts for North American cars, because we're the big coffee in the car people, but brutal. So add that onto the list. You know, I'll just keep adding things as I think of them. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Oh, then the car doesn't almost start. You know, that's what we get. BMW life. Let's see what it does here. It's winter. Okay, we can live with that. All right, nothing crazy. All right. This is the system booting up. This is your iDrive system. So. Again, like I said, there are some great features about this car, being a 15-year-old car. So, got that old school leather trim too. Can't go wrong with that. But anyways, on to the next one. So that's a wrap on another video. Like I said in the intro, there's another video coming shortly after. Thanks for watching. Comment below, you know, hit me up with questions, anything like that. I'm an open book. Love to talk about cars and life in general, snowboard stuff, whatever. Hit me up. So I appreciate all the support. Enjoy the next video as well. This is No Bad Days. I'm Ryan. Have a great day.